Hi, I'm Gail Minogue and I'm a numerologist. And today I wanted to speak to you about something very specific, which is on the day of your birth. And I'm not talking about the whole date, I'm talking about just the day. Like you have the month, you have the day, you have the year. First of all, numerology is really the study of your name and your date of birth. And you're given one when you are born. You're given all the specific information. So I'll look at the letters in your name, and behind every letter is a number. Everything here is numbers. Even the Bible tells you your days are numbered. So when I look at your name, I will find out your personality, your destiny, what you came here to accomplish. It will tell me your karmic lessons, and it will tell me the major life path lesson you are learning. So that involves numerology, and I study that, and I work with that, and I work with my clients. But one of the most important numbers people don't look at is the actual day of your birth. There's the month, there's the day, and there's the year. Well, I'm going to speak to you today about the day, not Monday, Tuesday, but the actual day, number 1 through 31. So I'm going to go through each number, not all 31, because there's, say, 3 number ones, which is number 1, number 10, and number 28. These are all ones, some form of 1. So we're going to look at those and how that would affect you if you're born on a 1 day. So we'll start with the number 1, which is always about the beginnings, about being independent, particularly if you're born on a 1 day or a 1-0 day, like a 10. These are very, very independent numbers, so you're always going to be somewhat unique individual in this life, kind of wanting to speak up for yourself. And the 28 is another form of the number 1 because it's a 10. We add those numbers together. So a 1, if you're born on a 1, a 10, or a 28 day, you're born on a 1 day. And we kind of remember that, individual and independent. If you're born on a 2 day, that's all about patience, coupleness, interdependence, where you have another. So the number 2s would be number 2, number 11, which is a master number, and number 20. These are all forms of the number 2. So if you're born on a 2 day, born on an 11 day, or born on a 20 day, you're 2. And that influences you where you're sort of the peacekeeper. You like to work with somebody else to bring peace to a situation. You can make a good arbitrator, but it also gives you a bit of indecisiveness. You like another to be with you. You're not a loner if you're born on a 2 day. The number 3 is a very creative number. This is a very expressive number. It's a very joyful number, and there's a little bit of schmoozing or the perfect host. So the different forms of the number 3 all have the same quality. The number 3, the number 12, and the number 21. That person would always be born on a 3 day. So that influences you, that there's always this creative endeavor within you, and you need to honor that. That's a very powerful push for you. You would rather have joy than misery, obviously, but you like to give it out. So you're a good hostess or host, and you have some creative ability. Now, the number 4 is the worker, okay? If you're born on a 4 day, you are a producer, and you like results, and you like sort of tradition. And in fact, we had President Barack Obama was born on a 4 day. These people can become workaholics. So what are the different forms of the number 4 in the month? That would be 4 or 13 or 22. So if you have one of those numbers, you're born on a 4 day. So it makes you a results-oriented person, and work is very important to you, and a sense of order. You want a sense of order in your life. That's the number 4. And remember, America's born on a 4 day, July 4. So Americans love to work. I mean, I don't know if we like it or not, but we do it. And so if we are born on a 4 day like America is, then we don't mind having only 2 weeks vacation, and we think that's fine, whereas the rest of the world thinks we're rather absurd to accept only 2 weeks a year. But we're the working country, and if you look at everything that's conversation about it, it's finding more jobs, it's about work. So 4, 13, and 22, these are the 4 people. The number 5 is the number of change and freedom, and also curiosity, but wanting to be free and wanting to be able to make adjustments and change as you would. So the number 5s would be born on a 5-day. We call that the purest 5. That's the strong 5, different 5. And then we have the number 14, which is more of a physical 5. And then we have the number 23, 5, which is more of a mental 5. All of them want freedom. All of them like change. All of them need to have it. So you can't ignore the day you're born. So 5, 14, and 23. If you're born on one of those days, that's your key to your expression, is to have that. The number 6 is the responsibility number. So this is the family number. This is the number who takes care of others and maybe has to do things that somebody else drops the ball. So the number 6s are sort of the caretakers and the responsibility family members usually. And so these are born on the 6th day or the 15-day or the 24-day. Family responsibility is extremely important to you, and you will be given that in this lifetime, whether you like it or not. So always, no matter how much freedom you want, you're always going to have that responsibility at home. So that's being born on a 6th day. Being born on a 7th-day is an interesting number because this number 7 has to do with the higher mind and the higher development. It's called really what we call a more spiritual number, a more intellectual number, a number of wanting to also have private time alone. So if you're born on a 7th-day, that's the pure 7. They need space, time alone. To be in nature is good. Also to have your own maybe space in the house somewhere. You can get away from all those people. So yeah, that would be 7, the number 16, and the number 25. These are all different forms of the number 7. So if you're born on a 7-day, a 16-day, or a 25-day, you need your time alone. And you need to be with smart people, because people who are not that smart or not that quick, they kind of bore you. So there's a refinement about that number, and you need to always try to associate with people who are at your level, shall we say. There's a refinement about that number. So that's the number 7, and sort of there's a retiring quality about a 7. It needs to be away from everybody for a while, get refreshed, and come back. The number 8 is the number of power, success, money, leadership, authority, energy. It's about manifesting, learning how to handle time, energy, and money. And a lot of people do not know how to handle time, energy, and money, and they get it all reversed, or not at all. But the forms of the number 8 are 8 itself, the pure 8. And then you have the number 17, and then you have the number 26. These are all forms of number 8. So remember, if you have one of these numbers, you're born on an 8th day, and that means the quality of learning how to handle money and power and authority and the use of your time. Most people don't value their time until they get a lot older and they have less of it. So always think, if you're born on an 8th day, think of your time definitely as money, and think of your time definitely as energy. The two most important powers you have is, number 1, your energy, and number 2 is your time. The last is money, because if you don't have energy, you won't have, forget the rest of it, forget the rest. If you have energy and time, you can go create money. But you cannot create money unless you have energy and time. So keep your priorities, and that's definitely for an 8. 8s like to be the boss. They like to be in charge. No two ways about it. When you're around an 8 person, you kind of feel that, and they want to try to be in that position. So the last number is the number 9. That's the finishing number. The number 9, 18, and 27, okay? These numbers are all about giving back, letting go, discarding, humanity, the arts, philanthropy, psychology, all of that. So the number 9, and any form of the 9, whether it is 18, whether it is 27, they're all a 9. And they all have this similar quality of giving back and letting go. If you happen to be born on one of these days, on a 9-day, you must always learn to let go. This is very hard for people. We're very attached here. We sort of can't believe if we're going to leave here that we don't take anything with us, but everything here will be left behind. So the final number is always 9. It finishes. We finish in a 9. So when you're coming in born on a 9 day, you have to learn to give without worrying about what you get back. That's a hard one for people to remember. And so the number 9 is the finishing number. Like we started with 1 where you were coming out like, whoopee, I'm number 1, I'm the new kid on the street, I'm unique and different, I'm the individual. And then we end on the 9 where we learn to let go, we learn to discard. We have a really good psychic ability in the number 9 because it has the ability to see everybody else in their full potential. And if the 9 continues, any form of the 9 continues to give without worrying about what there's in it for them, they will always have. The one thing about the number 9 is the more they give, the more they will have. But you do not give to, you always, let's put it this way, you always want to give to sustain usefulness of purpose. You don't just give because they have a sign up and they say, please give me money, or haven't eaten. You give to, maybe you might want to give to the food bank or something like that, or a certain area where they're actually helping the group, rather than just because you want to give usefulness of purpose. That's the 9 in the giving. So these are just the basic numbers. There are some of these numbers that I want to point out. If you happen to be born on a master number day, which is the number 11 and 22, these are power numbers. And 11's master numbers, anything with double digits. On the number 11, this is a very spiritual, inspirational, intuitive number. If you're born on an 11 day, you have some higher forces working with you, higher power. If I take the word light, L-I-G-H-T, it will be the number 11. The 11 is filled with light, inspiration, and channels. So the 11 person born on 11th day has the ability to channel. They don't even know it, but they need to pay attention to their decision making, and they need to pay attention to their intuition and what messages are coming through, because they definitely come through to the number 11. Also, the number 11 can be very indecisive because it always sees both sides of everything, and it can be stuck because it doesn't want to make a decision. There's an old expression, the universe loves a made-up mind, and that's the number 11. It must make up its mind, but it has special forces and special power behind that number. The second master number is 22, and the 22 is another form of the 4, as I mentioned before. So these are hardworking people, but what they can have the ability to do is take ideas that are seen in what I call the archetypal world, and from this world that's invisible, they bring forth ideas that they can make into form on earth. Well, how would you do that? You would do that maybe by starting a foundation or an institution. The most Nobel Prize winners in the world have a prominent 22 somewhere in their chart. This is remarkable. 22 is a powerhouse. It not only is the worker, but it's the inspirational worker, bringing forth ideas in the archetype world that you will then manifest here on earth, and other people will help you. So both of these numbers need to think big, and they need to get out of their way in allowing the universe, or what I say, man-made consciousness, limit them, because they've come in with special forces. I'm not going into the life path numbers today, which remember date of birth, but you can also have these master numbers in other placements of your name or your life path. But today we're just talking about the days. Also, the number 30 is a 3. The number 31 is a 4. So these number 29 is really 11 when you break it down. If you're born on a 29 day, yes, you have the 2, but when we break it down, it ends up being another form of 11. And again, those wonderful forces. But a pure 11 has the real channeling to it. But the 29 is very highly powerful too, because it reduces 2 with 11. So you can see when you look at these dates of birth, they really do influence you. And there's levels of mental, spiritual, and physical levels of each number. But I don't want to overload you too much today with too much information. I just want to spark you to have a spark of interest in your own day you're born. So that's very important in how it will influence you. Many people, when they go into numerology, they'll say, well, what is your number? You have many, many numbers, not just your life path. Don't buy into, well, I'm a 5 or I'm a 2. No, no, no. You're many numbers. And particularly on the day you were born is one of your major numbers. So I want to thank you again for listening to me. You can go to my website and get more information there, gailminogue.com, M as in Mary, I-N-O-G-U-E. You can get my book, which is Divine Design, How You Created the Life You Are Living, which will give you more on the numbers. That even goes into the numbers about freeways and how to do certain exercises using numbers to manifest what you would like in your life. So thanks again for listening to me. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to talking to you again.